You can go around blaming everyone else, but in the end, until you take responsibility for yourself, none of this is going to work out.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 movies that experienced massive backlash.
I don't know about you, but I intend to write a strongly worded letter to the White Star Line about all this.
For this list, we're looking at films that received a huge amount of controversy and/or negative comments, whether it be from the media or fans. What did you think of these flicks? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, Crash. Although Brokeback Mountain seemed preordained to win the 78th Academy Award for Best Picture, a select group of people were rooting for Paul Haggis's ensemble drama about racial tension to pull an upset.
We're black and black people don't tip. So she wasn't gonna waste her time? Now somebody like that, nothing you could do to change their mind.
Well, the little movie that could ultimately crashed the Oscars, and its supporters immediately jumped ship. Now, when people discuss the most unworthy Best Picture winners, Crash is typically the easy answer, with many calling it Traffic for Dummies.
In LA, nobody touches you. We're always behind this metal and glass. I think we miss that touch so much that we crash into each other just so we can feel something.
If you're one of those few people that stand by the Academy's choice, though, we won't judge you. Number 19, Aloha. On paper, Aloha is seemingly a huge hit. It's written and directed by Cameron Crowe and stars a slew of A-listers that would otherwise guarantee butts in seats, including Bradley Cooper, Bill Murray, and Rachel McAdams. But things did not turn out that way. The writing and directing did not work well, but most of all, it faced a significant amount of controversy for its whitewashing. The brunt of the criticism was aimed at the casting of Emma Stone, who plays a one-quarter Hawaiian, one-quarter Chinese pilot named Allison Ng.
Well, sir, I will also be an invaluable addition to our joint mission. I am a quarter Hawaiian.
Some argued that Stone's poor casting was intentional, including Stone herself, who stated, quote, "The character was not supposed to look like her background," though she has also expressed regret. Nevertheless, it was fiercely criticized and openly mocked at the 2019 Golden Globe ceremony.
It is the first studio film with an Asian American lead since Ghost in the Shell and Aloha.
Number 18, Driving Miss Daisy. This film, starring Morgan Freeman and Jessica Tandy, was a huge success in 1989, grossing nearly $150 million and earning 9 nominations at the 62nd Academy Awards.
I don't need you. I don't want you. And I don't like you saying I'm rich.
It also set a few Oscar records. Tandy became the oldest Best Actress winner, it's the most recent PG movie to win Best Picture, and it's one of just 5 Best Picture winners to have not received a Best Director nomination.
Something wrong back there, Miss Daisy?
No.
Something I done?
No. Yes.
Perhaps that speaks to the controversy of its win. Many people believe that Driving Miss Daisy was undeserving of Best Picture, including the members of the Academy. When The Hollywood Reporter polled members in 2015, many admitted that the award should have gone to My Left Foot instead. Number 17, The Twilight Saga. After Stephenie Meyer's bestseller got the big screen treatment, half of the human population rejoiced, while the other half was indifferent.
How old are you?
17.
How long have you been 17?
A while.
The more attention Twilight got and the more MTV Movie Awards it won, the more annoyed people became. That annoyance quickly turned to anger that was so strong it was as if the films in the series were the spawn of Satan.
Beautiful.
While even once diehard fans are starting to admit that Twilight received more success than it deserves, it's also possible we've given it more hate than it deserves. Number 16, Mother. Darren Aronofsky's Mother is one of the most divisive movies of the decade, and that was made readily apparent during its premiere at the Venice Film Festival, when it was simultaneously applauded and booed. Some hated the film's overt religious metaphors, perhaps expecting a more straightforward home invasion story.
These people.
I know, they're just letting off steam.
They're painting our house.
But the worst offense was the graphic violence on display. Mother was viciously criticized for its degree of violence, which includes constant mistreatment of Jennifer Lawrence's mother and a horrific event involving her newborn baby. Many people can stomach barbarity in film, but this was crossing a line. Number 15, Ghostbusters. As well-intentioned as this movie may have been, Ghostbusters is just one of those movies you do not remake. It's an all-time classic, and nostalgic fans who hold it close to their hearts were not happy.
Forget it, Venkman. You had your chance to cooperate, but you thought it'd be more fun to insult me. Well, now it is my turn, wise ass.
The all-female cast also drew a large amount of backlash, as did Leslie Jones's performance, which some perceived as a loud and stereotypical African-American character.
The power of pain compels you! Ow!
The trailer quickly became the most disliked on YouTube, and this only fueled more backlash. Some saw the hostile response as misogynistic and an example of the ongoing culture war, and people involved in the movie began actively defending themselves on social media. It was just a huge mess from all directions. Number 14, The English Patient. The story of The English Patient is obviously beloved. The movie received 12 Oscar nominations, and the novel it's based on took home both the Booker Prize and the Governor General's Award. However, both received a fair amount of criticism and debate regarding the ethics of rewriting history.
Read to me, will you? Read me to sleep.
The titular patient is based on Laszlo Almási, a man who helped the Axis powers during World War II. Almási died of dysentery in 1951, whereas in the movie he is given a fatal overdose of morphine after a fiery plane crash. The movie has also received backlash for Fargo being snubbed at the Oscars, and was famously mocked on an episode of Seinfeld.
Did you just see The English Patient? Didn't you love it? No. How could you not love that movie? How about it sucked?
Number 13, Blue is the Warmest Color. This European film was warmly received by critics and won numerous industry awards. But controversy was there from day one. Director Abdelatif Kechiche received a lot of heat for the reported unfavorable working conditions, both from the crew and the lead actresses.
Tu connais quoi? Picasso? Ouais.
Kechiche himself later expressed hesitation about releasing the film, believing that the negative publicity had tarnished its reputation. The movie was indeed released, but only fueled more backlash, as many people took issue with its more intimate scenes. Some thought they were too graphic, and those belonging to the LGBTQ+ community found them both unrealistic and exploitative. Number 12, Zero Dark 30. While Kathryn Bigelow's Zero Dark 30 was an impeccably made film, it also received a ton of negative feedback that has undeniably marred its legacy. The film quickly found itself caught up in the 2012 presidential election thanks to many outspoken Republicans who accused it of supporting Obama's re-election. Some even believed that Bigelow and her team were given classified information by the Obama administration while crafting the story.
I need 4 techs in a safe house in Rawalpindi. 4 techs in a safe house in Peshawar. Either send them out or send me back to DC and explain to the director why you did it.
Others, including the director of the CIA, fiercely and publicly criticized the movie's seeming pro-torture leanings, with some calling it both propagandistic and historically inaccurate. Finally, the families of some 9/11 victims attacked the film for including voice recordings of their deceased loved ones without consent. Number 11, Juno. Despite strong critical praise, Juno immediately found itself the target of movements that were anti-abortion and those that were for abortion rights. Some believed that the movie displayed strong anti-abortion themes, as Juno briefly flirts with the idea before actively deciding against it.
Your baby probably has a beating heart, you know. It can feel pain. And it has fingernails.
It doesn't help that Juno was released in the same year as both Waitress and Knocked Up, 2 comedies with similar storylines.
Okay. Well, I'll meet you in my office. Okay. Give you a little time alone there.
The movie was further blamed for a series of teenage pregnancies in Massachusetts, resulting in what was termed the Juno effect.
That ain't no Etch-a-Sketch. This is one doodle that can't be undid, Holmes Gillett.
Finally, the movie's political background was brought up yet again in 2019, when writer Diablo Cody claimed that she wouldn't have written Juno today, owing to the, quote, hellish alternate reality that we now seem to be stuck in. Number 10, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Although most of us knew The Hobbit didn't need to be 3 movies, we were just excited to revisit Middle-earth, and went along on Bilbo's unexpected journey.
I'm going on an adventure!
At first, it was fun to see Gandalf and Gollum again. After sitting through the trilogy's following chapters, however, Peter Jackson was officially trying our patience. Because The Hobbit began as a relatively short children's novel, many believed this drawn-out adaptation had more filler than a never-ending soap opera.
You turned your back. You turned away from the suffering of my people and the inferno that destroyed us.
Perhaps a director's cut, or better yet, a fan cut is in order. What was also unexpected was the mixed results over the new 48 frames per second tech used, with many moviegoers finding it less than an improvement. Number 9, Titanic. It's possible for a movie to become too successful, Titanic being an evident example.
He envisioned a steamer so grand in scale and so luxurious in its appointments that its supremacy would never be challenged. And here she is.
The film broke all kinds of records at the box office and the Oscars, but James Cameron's unsinkable hit did not stop there. For the longest time, it was impossible to go anywhere without seeing Titanic being referenced. Once the world finally got sick of it, they really got sick of it.
Well, it's a simple question. Do you love the guy or not?
This is not a suitable conversation.
Why can't you just answer the question?
Be that as it may, chances are you saw Titanic in theaters multiple times. Any film that accomplishes that must have done something right. Number 8, Ghost in the Shell. Scarlett Johansson is a great actress, but was Motoko Kusanagi the right role for her?
We made you a new body, a synthetic shell. But your mind, your soul, your ghost, it's still in there.
A lot of people did not think so. Being an adaptation of a Japanese manga, Ghost in the Shell received a lot of pre-release publicity owing to the casting of Johansson, with many people calling it an example of whitewashing. It received further backlash when it was reported that the filmmakers were going to use CGI to make Johansson appear Asian. However, many others, including the director of the anime films and the Ghost in the Shell rights holder, defended the casting and heaped praise upon Johansson.
It feels like there's always this thick fog over my memory and I can't see through it.
It was also widely reported that many Japanese natives and fans of the manga were not upset, nor that surprised with Johansson's casting. Number 7, Avatar. The bigger the movie, the bigger the backlash. Between 2009 and 2019, Avatar was the highest-grossing film ever. While it was briefly overtaken by Avengers Endgame, it retook the top spot in 2021 thanks to a Chinese reissue.
You are on Pandora, ladies and gentlemen. Respect that fact every second of every day.
Unsurprisingly, the epic sci-fi has suffered a behemoth backlash unlike any other throughout this time. Paralleling Titanic, Avatar has gone from reigning at the box office to being the most heavily criticized entity online. Bloggers and commenters alike cannot stand the notion that a movie with such simplistic themes and a cliched story made over $2 billion.
What the hell have you people been smoking out there? They're just goddamn trees.
Regardless, there are still plenty of pro-blue people who proudly defend the film, which is fortunate considering how many sequels are set to be released in the 2020s. Number 6, The Last Temptation of Christ. Martin Scorsese has often received backlash for the degree of violence in his films. In this case, though, it was for depicting Jesus Christ getting personal with Mary Magdalene. While the movie includes a disclaimer stating that it is, quote, not based upon the Gospels, that didn't stop some Christians from getting upset. Many Christian groups protested and boycotted the movie's release, and a few theater chains caved to the pressure and refused to show the movie. Scorsese reportedly received death threats, and the film was outright banned in several countries. But the worst came on October 22, 1988, when a Paris cinema showing the film was set on fire by a group of Christian fundamentalists.
Join me. Together we'll rule the living and the dead.
14 people were injured in the attack. Number 5. Kids. This Larry Clark-directed coming-of-age drama was originally given the rare NC-17 rating owing to its explicit content.
First time is always whack. Just be glad you didn't lose your virginity in the backseat of a rental car.
Shot in a quasi-documentary format, Kids received immediate criticism owing to its graphic nature, with some even calling it exploitative and bordering on illegal. Not only was the content itself controversial, but many of the main characters were deemed abhorrent and unlikable.
Watch where the f you skating at. Watch where you up, yo. What? What I said, yo. What? Forget it, enough.
One scene, which we will not show, continues to draw immense criticism, both for its horrific content and for the unflinching manner in which it's filmed. Very few people saw any artistic merit within the film, instead calling it provocation for provocation's sake. Number 4. The Interview. If the hullabaloo around The Interview taught us anything, it's that people will absolutely cater to the demands of North Korea.
인민 여러분, 우리 인민 공화국의 아름다운 강산을 알리고자 미국에서 온 동무.
The movie immediately drew criticism in the totalitarian country for its depiction and on-screen killing of Kim Jong-un. Sony Pictures releasing was hacked prior to the release of the film, and the hackers, who had North Korean connections, threatened future attacks if the release went ahead as planned. Following the threats, Sony pulled The Interview from wide release, a move that was fiercely criticized by critics and actors alike. Even President Obama decried the move, saying, quote, "We cannot have a society in which some dictator in some place can start imposing censorship in the United States." Number 3. Cuties. This is the debut of French director Maimouna Doucouré. It was not a great first impression.
This morning, Netflix is under growing fire after its release of the award-winning French film, Cuties.
Netflix absolutely bungled the release of this film by unveiling a controversial poster depicting scantily clad young girls. While the movie criticizes this type of hypersexualization in preteens, Netflix subscribers and organizations found the poster extremely inappropriate and demanded the cancellation of the film. Numerous American politicians publicly condemned the movie through social media and even opined that its release broke federal laws and constituted criminal behavior. But despite the very prominent backlash, Netflix continues to defend the film and claims that it's misunderstood.
My film Cuties is a mirror of today's society, a mirror sometimes difficult to look into and accept, but still so true.
Number 2. Nymphomaniac. Directed by the ever-provocative Lars von Trier, Nymphomaniac is about a woman named Jo regaling a stranger about her wild personal life.
But if you're to understand, I'll have to tell you the whole story. And it'll be long.
With the uncut version running a patience-testing 5.5 hours, Nymphomaniac received criticism both for its indulgent runtime and explicit content.
It's extremely common to react sexually in a crisis. Maybe shameful to you, but in literature, there's many worse examples.
In fact, the lower body parts of various adult entertainers who acted as body doubles were superimposed over the actors in the movie. As such, the film features incredibly graphic shots that some find highly uncomfortable to watch, and it faced some backlash regarding the unrestrained nature of the visuals. This is certainly not one to watch with your parents. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Passion of the Christ. Really, anything involving Jesus is bound to be controversial.
أنت يشوع أنسان أمرين ديانت ملكا
While an enormous success and obviously well-made, Mel Gibson's biblical epic was relentlessly crucified by the media. Some argued against the biblical accuracy of the film, but one of the biggest claims was that the movie was anti-Semitic. However, many of these claims were made prior to release, and many prominent movie critics praised the film and argued against its supposed anti-Semitic themes. Others focused on the extent of the graphic violence and compared it to a snuff film. Not only was the violence hard to watch, but some also argued that the movie missed the story's teachings by focusing solely on its brutality. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.